Yo, what's going on, everyone? Brian and Jim here with Drink a Beer and Play a Game. Welcome to another episode of the Power Hour.
And Happy New Year. We are recording this on New Year's Day,
Yeah,
2019.
we're trying to make this shit legit, right, Jim?
Yeah, trying to get back on the ball of this, and I am not feeling great today.
Yeah, how hungover are you?
Not terribly hungover. I've definitely had worse, but not top form.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I did rum and cokes and a shit ton of wine and one beer. I'm actually okay right now.
Yeah, I did like 2/3 of a mini keg of this Christmas ale by Breckenridge Brewery. So I think it's out of Colorado. So it was really good. But, whoo, lordy.
You're just going to feel the effects today?
Yeah, my body just crapped out all at once last night.
So I wanted to start the new year, start this podcast. Some positivity. There's a lot of negativity going around, Jim, about you being a cocksucker.
Yeah, I heard about the suck dick attitude, but I didn't know about the full-on cocksucking.
I mean,
It's news to me.
your game choices, your inability to finish games, and your last task last year just to get a certain beer for this podcast. You failed. So
No longer had it.
It's washed. It's a new year. We're gonna only be positive. All right.
This is a good start. This is just great.
So we talked last podcast about
Or a couple ago, I think.
last podcast about what we were going to be drinking. This
Oh,
podcast.
yeah.
So we've mentioned in the past the Miller High Life, the champagne bottle, and the Budweiser Copper. So Jim was supposed to get the Miller High Life,
Couldn't find it.
and I got the Budweiser Copper. And late last night, Jim goes, "Hey, when you're out checking, can you find the Miller High Life champagne bottle?"
Nowhere I went had it. That was convenient for me to go to.
So Daddy came through again.
I'll give you this one.
He failed, but
New year, new me.
I felt like such an asshole picking this up and then the 6-pack of this Budweiser Copper. So we're actually going to start with the Miller High Life.
Did you have to get this at a craft store?
No, just a regular bottle shop, but it's still like I had to go up and ask him, like, do you have those like champagne bottles for the Miller High? Feeling like an asshole asking for Miller High Life out of a champagne bottle. Now let's make one thing clear. I'm not too good to drink this. Neither of us are. But when you have to ask a guy at a store to find this fucking bottle and the kind of look he gives you, like, you fucking kidding me right now? So, yeah. And especially because I did it on New Year's Eve. So he probably, in his head, is like, this is like legit this guy's champagne for tonight. So, yeah, this is what we're going to be trying out starting off. So
Probably popping bottles like a G6.
we are popping bottles, Jim, and I hate you.
Timely 2010 reference there.
All right, so we have the closest thing to a champagne flute that we're going to get, these little snifter glasses.
Well, this is an appropriate glass.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I know if this was up to Jim, it would be a solo cup.
Most likely. It's really what it deserves.
So, cheers to the New Year's.
Bubbly.
Let's see how this shit tastes. Oh, it's more High Life.
Yep. Doesn't make it any better. I will say this, though. I had this shit warm a couple tailgating a while back.
Well, oh, Jesus Christ.
It did not, like, we all passed it around, like, as we were tailgating, and we're like, this is absolute piss water. But when it's cold, it's drinkable.
Yeah.
This was, like, the go-to beer when I was, like, 18.
Yeah, Miller High Life, I've never had a huge issue. It honestly tastes like just a crack above Miller Lite, like as far as extra flavor.
Yeah.
And all you're getting is a little bit more of that corn. Like, that's really it. It's a fucking beer. I just can't believe they actually did this fucking champagne glass.
I love it. This is the beer that my dad and his, like, best friend will drink when they play Yahtzee together. So that's what I think. Old man Yahtzee beer.
So I'm curious, how long you think they keep this thing going like that? Or do you think it's like a permanent thing they're going to do?
I don't know. I was thinking it was just a like a holiday thing because I did have a hard time finding it. So
I'm trying to show you guys. They have the legit gold flaking foil up top in the glass. Now, I forget if the regular bottles of Miller have it, but they actually have it etched in the glass, the champagne of beers around both sides.
that's fantastic.
So they put some legit time, and they even got the little Miller stamp on the bottom, which I think they have on the regular bottles. But still, it's fairly legit.
I think more money went into this than they give the PBR at this point.
Well, yeah, they're pulling the money. That's
was
why
the point, Brian.
That's why they can't do PBR
It's a
anymore,
throwback.
Jim.
It's a callback.
Damn it. It's a throwback. Man. So, all right, as we finish this,
Smooth.
delicious Miller High Life.
I'm actually surprised how almost empty it is after pouring these little guys out.
Yeah. How much is in this thing? 25 ounces. It's a pint, so.
Oh, okay. Just fancy.
All right, so while we're drinking through this, bringing up a beer topic, something I actually just thought of and then I typed in from WHAS, WHAS11.com. The article is titled, "Does beer before liquor actually make you sicker?"
For New Year's, that's a good article.
And I was thinking about it, and when I was a kid, that was, liquor before beer, everything's clear. Beer before liquor makes you sicker. It's something I was told like the first night I was drinking. And regardless, and what this article will kind of say is that it really doesn't matter the order. It's how much you're drinking.
And what you're drinking.
So, yeah, that is obviously an old myth. One thing, it's pretty sad I didn't know until recently. The clearer the liquor you're drinking, you legit will get less sick. And that's because anything darker brown has a lot more of the toxins in it.
Yeah, which I also didn't know.
Yeah, I really did not realize that.
I always just figured the darker ones were heavier, so
Yeah.
that's why I felt more like shit from them.
No. So basically, they're called, and I'm going to fuck this up, so Jim, you save me with this, but the toxins are called congeners?
Congeners? I have no idea.
Yeah, and I know it's a simple way we could have looked this up, but don't judge us. It's the new year. Be nice. So all the drinks that I really like, such as bourbon, whiskey, and dark beers, red wine, they have a lot more, and they will absolutely give you worse headaches, worse hangovers, probably make you puke quicker than if you were to drink like vodka or gin or any of that shit, not counting if you're doing mixers.
Yeah.
So I found that out because the other night, I forget, I was watching, do you watch Peaky Blinders?
No.
All right, so it's a good show, but they talk about like they started doing a gin business in it. And I was like, you know what? Let me go have some. It just got me in the mood. I almost finished half a bottle of gin by myself. Felt fine the next morning. Whereas if I have like, a couple glasses of whiskey,
Ooh, you're asking for it.
not going to be feeling great. So, yeah. So for those of you out there, if you're all hungover by this point, and maybe by the time you're listening to this, you're fine. But when you out to drink, doesn't matter what you drink before which. It's really just know your quantities and try to stick to lighter colored things if you don't want a massive hangover.
Yeah. Or if you just say, fuck it, know what you're getting into beforehand.
What's the deadliest combo for you, Jim? When you combine like, what's your guaranteed throw up mix?
Actually, at this point for me, if I just take shots in general, I'm probably gonna be puking.
Of anything?
Yeah, just because I'm old and out of it at this point, so it's just too much at once. Because I'm either going all in or I'm not doing it at all. So if I'm doing shots, I'm doing some goddamn shots. So it doesn't really end well for me. But for the most part, I've only really, as far as liquor gone, I've pretty much stuck to whiskey for ages now. So I guess if I do Tully, I actually seem to be all right for the most part.
Yeah.
But I guess if I go hit like the Jacks and crap like that, that'll normally get me sick.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it also comes down to the quality of the liquor too. But
vodka, if I do a straight shot of vodka any night, if I'm drinking, that's always a guaranteed throw up. I can have vodka mixed, but straight vodka, because to me that tastes like rubbing alcohol.
Once I have the taste in my mouth, actually rum I can't do anymore either.
Rum hurts, but
rum and Coke I can, like rum mixed drinks, perfectly fine. But rum shots, oh my god.
So I'm actually worse now. I'm better at drinking shit straight up, and I'd rather do a shot than do mixed with soda. Like the sugar fucks with me. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to drink alcohol at this point now, it's going to be beer, it's going to be liquor straight, or a shot. But if I do have to do a mixed drink, I'll do like whiskey ginger, I guess the occasional rum and Coke or something, but like I said, that's like very rare.
No more Fireball nights?
I'll do Fireball, but it would just have to be by itself.
Ugh.
And yeah.
Ugh.
So vodka was always my go-to.
I've puked Fireball enough times in my life. I think Fireball's up there for me just by like being around it at this point from how many times I've thrown it up.
Yeah, the smell brings back a lot of bad. Oh, you know what?
It's too sticky.
The nastiest shit makes Fireball seem like candy is fucking Sambuca.
Oh, God.
I don't know how people like that shit. And you talk about it's like syrup and black licorice. Who the fuck likes black licorice?
On that note, I can't do Jaeger anymore either. Used to love Jaeger.
I do love meat. See, the thing is, I love that it's always ice cold. I won't do Jaeger bombs because that's the only advice I give. Drink whatever the hell you want. Guys, girls.
Leave the bombs for the young kids.
No. Don't mix energy drinks with alcohol just because take it from someone who drank way too many energy drinks and it will fuck up your heart.
Yes, no, it does. Same here.
For sure. So leave that shit. Just do straight shots of Jaeger. Don't
be like us in your 30s getting EKGs because you're going, that's a weird feeling.
So that's my only advice. Drink as much as you want, but yeah. So it's
for once, legitimately good advice from us.
Yeah, it's just a fun little article.
New year, new me.
Jim, I said I wanted to be positive, and you're dragging me down in the fucking trenches of your bullshit.
What bullshit? I don't know what you're talking about.
Next, you're going to use words like extra.
You use
and
that.
100 and shit like that.
God, keep it 100.
You're going to use those fucking claps in between your fucking words. What's next, Jim?
I might work. Ooh, now it's a challenge for me. I may work that in later today.
I'm going to stay positive, folks. But he's not making it easy. I can't promise that this bottle isn't going to get broken over his head.
Might be deserved.
So, yeah, comment below if you guys have any combinations that are terrible or, any thoughts on this whole what you like to drink before. For us, it doesn't matter, but the article will be below.
Yeah, and it was also saying in there, if you drink like a glass of water in between every drink you have,
you'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Just don't be a bitch.
Well, obviously.
All right, so moving on. Just wanted to generally talk about the last year for us in gaming. We've covered a lot of things of new games that have come out, but obviously we're never up to date on all the new games. And even if it's games that are really old that we just happened to play last year,
or new to us, just anything.
Yeah. So over the past year, we just wanted to throw it out there. What have you played, and from what you did get to play, what are some of the best, worst, and kind of most surprising? So Jim, I'll let you go first.
All right. Best. I'll start it real easy. It's one of the most recent that came out, and we're going to talk about it later. Freaking Smash. Like, it's really, really good. And this is coming from a guy who... I wasn't really big on the Wii U one. I didn't play it on 3DS because mine's broken, but...
I didn't say nothing.
I heard the...
So would you say the Wii U was more of a waste?
Well, when it comes to Smash...
Right? Here you go, Jim.
And Star Fox and...
Drink it up.
And a lot of things. But... Yeah, I mean, Smash is excellent. I definitely say that's one of the ones that I'm the most happy with. I played Golf Story, which is... I haven't finished it because I don't finish anything anymore. But it's a nice little time waster. Like, it's basically what it is. It's an overhead, old-school RPG, and instead of, like, battling, to get the story progressing, you play rounds of golf. And it's old-school, simple kind of format for it. Think like Hot Shots Golf, 3-click kind of deal, but it's 2D, crap like that. But it's really fun. And doesn't take itself too seriously. Nice and relaxing. I know Brian hates me right now. When it comes to worst, not that this is a bad game, but the one I was most disappointed in is probably Street Fighter 2 on the PC Engine. Just because it's really good. Don't get me wrong, it's Street Fighter 2. But the D-pad is just even worse than having the 3 buttons. I can live with 3 buttons. I grew up with 3 buttons. But... the D-pad, you have to be so friggin' accurate with it. Like, I'm used to a Genesis one where I can just be like, down, forward, up. Like, just...
Yeah, but that controller is kind of shit.
It's not a shit controller. It's a good controller, but just not for fighting games.
So, one of the main functions of the controller using the D-pad, which we've played other games, the D-pad's a little tough for any game. So, basically, half of your whole function is not that great. You're still going to defend that controller, Jim? I'm not saying game. I'm not saying game. I'm saying if you could just plug in a Genesis controller, would you ever use that old controller?
No, but
there you go.
Genesis controller is my favorite controller.
What you're saying is I win.
You do not win, you son of a bitch.
If I could plug in an NES controller, I would take it over that. Yeah, you can't even argue that.
Yeah, put a little turbo function on it. All right. It's okay. It's better than the Master System.
Drink it up.
How about that?
Oh wow! You're really
stacking,
really stacking it up.
Yeah, and besides that, I mean, like you've seen with my reviews lately, like pinball and a CDI. Holy shit! Holy crap.
I'd feel bad for you, but I don't.
I know. And eventually when I hit more of my CDI games up, because, surprise, surprise, they're not expensive. So.
I'm shocked.
I know. Absolute shocker. But, and the most surprising, might go with, actually, that Starlink game that came out. The one that's with the spaceships. It's almost kind of like in a Skylanders kind of deal.
Yeah.
So I mainly bought it because I wanted the toy R-Wing. But popping the game in, I was like, all right, this is going to be generic and probably crappy, made for kids. It's simple, don't get me wrong. There's really like 5 different mission types and things to do that you're just doing over and over again.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's a nice turn off your brain time waster. Like if you want to relax and just fly around.
What is that for again?
Everything really,
Okay.
or at least PS4 and Switch.
So I assume you just have for just a Switch.
I just have it for the Switch, yeah. So, but I mean, it drains the shit out of that battery, but because of how it's making it work. But it's actually a surprisingly fun game. Like you would think that something so simple and repetitive, I'd be just like, ugh, like why did I even do this?
Yeah.
But I actually don't regret it. I'm actually really happy with that purchase. Right. So. It's not, 10 out of 10 game or anything like that, but for what it is, it's fun.
So what, thinking about you and some of those other games, I mean, I know you obviously, you played Black Ops 4.
Yeah, and that's, Black Ops it's what I expected.
Yeah. PUBG.
Right.
The game that pissed me off, I think, the most of any game you've played in the past couple years is when we're in the middle of, hey, Jim, you play this or play that or play something good or play this with us, and I see you're playing a flower pot game or whatever the hell it was called.
Oh, what, when I was playing Flower?
Yes.
I played that one day. You beat that in 2 hours.
The fact that you posted about it, that you wasted your time playing that. I just want to know, give me the genesis of how you came to be like, I feel like playing a game called Flower. That whatever the fuck you do, you watch a flower grow or whatever.
No, you don't watch a flower grow, Brian.
Next year, you'll be like, oh, there's this great paint simulation. You watch it dry.
No, it's actually maybe.
Fuck.
I was going to get to a review of Flower, but I don't know.
No, you're not. If you put it up, I'm deleting it off the fucking site.
Well, now I have to do it more then.
Pinball was bad enough.
Which those will keep going, but they're going to be a lot slower. Maybe one a month at this point. But
you say that's our period.
Yes, that can be
that's
our
Jim's period.
That's when Ann flows in town.
Right,
That's when the
Jim's
pinball
period
review
is
another pinball review. But no, 'cause I had seen it ages ago, and I had the Journey Collector's Edition, so it comes with Journey, Flower, some other game they have, and some crap mini games. So I was like, all right, I'll give Flower a go. And what you do in it, Brian, is you actually control the wind.
Yeah,
and you start with one little petal, and then you go through other petals to make bigger petals.
So here's
to bring color back to the world.
Once again, in your dodo brain mind, when you're sitting there, you got Switch, you got good games on Switch, you got a million other systems, you got other games that will be reviewed by us soon, you got other things you could be playing, doing. You could be playing multiplayer games with your buddies. Where does it click in your mind? You're like, I want to play Flower.
I wanted to play a game that I could beat in an afternoon.
I find it unacceptable that you get a game like that when you have games like BioShock that you've never turned on.
I have played BioShock. I just haven't beaten it.
That's just as bad.
Probably.
So, don't do that no more.
Don't do
All right?
Hey, you know that
Stop
thing you did?
playing
Don't do
terrible things. I would rather you tell me for the millionth time you played Star Fox again. Or Streets of Rage. Like, I don't care. Play good shit.
Play anything.
Stop playing bad things.
You'd rather I play something on the TurboGrafx?
I would rather you go play a Flash game on the goddamn internet that's...
Monkey Lander? Find Monkey Lander?
Yeah, play Monkey Lander. Fucking Flower. It's offensive.
It's offensive.
So, was there any other games you can think of that you tried for the first time this year?
I mean, I tried so much freaking crap this year. One that's maybe a little on the disappointing side, but I have to put more time into it, actually, is that Tanglewood game that came out. So that was a Kickstarter from end of 2016, early 2017.
Okay.
And it's coming out for the Dreamcast, and it had a Genesis port you could get, so I got the Genesis one. And it's a platformer. It's really nice looking, but I just have to put more time into it. I played it for like a half hour, and I was like, eh.
Yeah. Nah. I'm trying to get better about that. So for me, I actually do have a lot of games that I tried for the first time this year. But if I'm thinking in general, so I mentioned Black Ops 4. I love the game. That's currently the multiplayer game me and my buds play. I'll just skip right to most surprising. So I was someone that when I would watch PUBG, I hate it. I'm like, that seems stupid. The game doesn't look finished. Then I tried it, and I quickly, at the beginning of last year, fell in love with it. I mean, I converted all my friends to start playing it, and I found myself just playing it every minute I had. And,
You were obsessed for a while.
and I just really loved it. I didn't anticipate liking it. I thought it was going to be too slow-paced, this and that. By the end, I really loved it. Now that Black Ops 4 has the blackout mode, I love that. It's like a much better PUBG, at least in my opinion. I know there's some people that's blasphemy.
It's more streamlined.
Yeah, but by the end, I was just still getting frustrated with like, all right, I love that feel that this is a new game. It's in beta. It's like whatever, it's being developed that we talked about like last podcast. But I was like, man, how many fucking times can I land and not find a gun or some bullshit? I have a level 3 helmet and I get a headshot and still get killed. Like there was too many glitchy things that still would bother me, especially now that I was playing at a level where I was good. Like I expected to die all the time when I first started. After that, you get to a point when like, okay, you know certain things should and shouldn't happen. So that was probably the most surprising just because I ended up playing it and like I said, convert it. Well, shit, Chris, you,
Yep.
Gun. And so, yeah, converted a bunch of our friends to playing it. Some of the best games, like Jim said, Smash. I haven't played a Smash since, what was it, Melee from the GameCube.
Okay.
So I didn't play the Wii. Didn't play the Wii U. But I always liked Smash, but I was never like, unless I was playing with him or some of my other friends, I didn't really do the multiplayer. And on the GameCube, I used to play single player all the time. Like I just liked the unlocking aspect of it. So I got the Switch on Christmas. I guess I should have said that at the beginning.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have Smash, and I've already unlocked a shit ton of characters because I love that process of just, actually I'll save a lot of this because we're going to talk more about Smash. But that is probably one of my favorites. I've been playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'm only like 2 or 3 hours in. It's very early for me to say if I think it's one of the best.
You off the plateau yet?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm almost there. As far as some other best games, Horizon Zero Dawn for PS4 is really goddamn good. The controls are one of the best controls I played in games in a really long time, and it looks amazing. Problem is, I just don't get to play my PS4 as much as some of my other consoles.
That's going to go down a lot with the Switch now, too.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Switch is just so damn convenient.
Yeah. So that's been an excellent game. But, one of the surprise games I never played before last year, was Gunstar Heroes.
Oh.
Like, I had heard it was great. And then when I went through and beat it, I was like, God damn, this is an excellent game. And it was probably my favorite of the Genesis games that we played. Mm-hmm. So, worst... So I was looking back at the reviews we did, since I beat almost every game that we reviewed. 2 games come to mind, Jim. One is Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oof.
That was a terrible game.
Oof.
For the reasons we mentioned in the review. I'm not just shitting on it because it's LJN. But that Budokan fighting game. And whatever the fuck it's called.
The G Gundam fighting game?
G Gundam fighting game. And I'm not even saying that it's an actually... I'm saying of the games I played, that's probably one of the worst.
It's a very average fighter.
I was thinking of like all the other games I played, and yeah, that's that and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. There was a good amount of games. Like I started playing this game Zombie. It was Zombie U for the Wii.
Oh yeah.
But now it came out on the Xbox, so I've been playing that. I like that. I just haven't finished it. Got to finish Horizon Zero Dawn. So yeah, I just like you, I do have some games. I still got to beat Bloodborne, which I started like 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So,
do you find that you have gaming ADD at this point?
I do. I'll play.
I don't finish anything anymore for the most part.
So when we're reviewing, like as we said, we're doing the Resident Evil games.
Yeah, for reviews, I'll finish those, but like anything I play casually, I never finish at this point.
Yeah, I'm so focused now though. Like I beat Resident Evil 2 both times, Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil Code Veronica, all in the matter of like 4 weeks. So I sit down and I'm like, all right, I got it, bang out as many hours as I can. So I'm looking forward to seeing what I can finish from this past year. But yeah, I'd say those are probably some of the games I played the most.
Yeah, and actually, I'll say one that surprised me was that Horizon Chase Turbo. It's an independently made game, but it's a lot of fun. And I'm not just saying that because I'll eventually give it a quick review just because they gave us a download code for it.
Yeah.
So, but it actually is a game I'm surprisingly had fun with because I haven't played a racing game in years.
That kind of is, would you say, compare it to kind of like almost Rad Racer or the old...
It's like along the lines of like, yeah, Rad Racer-ish or
what's that, like
Top Gear in the Super NES.
Or like California Racing, the old arcade game.
I don't think I played that.
That was a standard car game. I think that's what it's called, California Racing. The one where like if you double tap the pedal, your car would do a wheelie in the arcades.
I think I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Like it looks like that style.
Yeah, it's old arcadey. Like
Yeah.
it's very like what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
But it's just a lot of fun for how simple it is.
All right.
I think I like the fact that I can't do racing sim games anymore.
Yeah.
Like Gran Turismo's. Not that I was ever super into them anyway, but
I was, and
I know you were.
And I actually have all the Gran Turismos except for the last one or two. I have a ton of the Forza Horizons and Forza games. I start playing them. I love them. But yeah, I just don't have the time. And I used to invest all my time into that shit. So yeah, no more.
Yeah, so you'll see more when I do the full review, but it's a fun time.
All right. So guys, let us know below. Over 2018, it doesn't have to be 2018 exclusive games. What's a game you played that you finally got around to playing? What's a new game you enjoyed? What were some of the ones you hate the most? I know there were some. If you had to guess off the top of your head, Jim, would you say that probably the most blowback for a game was Fallout 76?
Probably.
I know it's the freshest in our mind. I'm trying to think early 2018. Like, was there any games that really got shit on?
What do you call that? Metal Gear Survive. That got really smashed.
But I feel like it didn't get as much as 76.
Yeah, probably not. It wasn't as colossal a fuck up because Konami was already like not in people's good graces. So,
do you think Diablo Immortals in for
woo,
some bad review? How many people do you think are going to review that without even opening it? Just for the pure fact of like, fuck you guys.
They're going to play it for like 5 seconds and be like, this is mobile bullshit.
So
fucking poor Pat and Ian are still getting like hundreds of downvotes as soon as they post anything from the angry Diablo crowd.
The internet's a angry place, Jim.
Jesus, don't fuck with my 30-year-old franchise. Jesus.
That's why we gotta be positive this year, Jim.
Positive. New year, new me.
That dick suck attitude's going out the window.
New year, new me.
So let us know what you think below, guys. All right, before we go on to our next topic, we finished this good old Miller High Life. It's beer.
It's Miller High Life.
Yeah. We don't actually hate it. I just hate this goddamn bottle.
I love that bottle.
So, yeah.
I love it.
Maybe we can give a signed copy to someone, Jim. Oh, shit. It's twist off. We're so used to goddamn having to take this stuff.
Is that going to be a Patreon reward? Give us the official Miller High Life champagne bottle?
Yeah, our first
giveaway.
Our first $5 person, you get this signed. And Jim gives a dick suck. All right.
$5 is $5.
Oh, I'm drinking right out the bottle.
Oh, okay.
So for the first one, if you were unfamiliar, we posted videos about, but this has been out for a while. I almost want to say since August. And it's their Budweiser, just aged in Jim Beam barrels. Comes in at 6.2%.
Beefy.
A little bit funny story. I went to Weiss, and I asked the guy, I was like, hey, do you got any of those Budweiser coppers? And they're like, yeah, we had that shit months ago. Nobody bought it, so we don't carry it anymore. I was like, fuck. So
wow.
Same story as the Miller High Life. I had to go be like, do you guys got those Bud coppers? Now, they were a lot cooler about that, but still.
I'm so glad you had to eat your ass to get these beers. I'm a little surprised by the smell. Almost smells like stouty when you first open it up.
It's a much more flavorful Bud.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to pinpoint it.
So basically, the primary things. So if you're used to regular Bud, you get just like a Miller High Life. You get very sweet corn flavor. What this is you get a shit ton more of the caramel and the oak and the barrels itself. Like you get that. It's like the vanilla kind of burnt flavor, and I hate using this term to describe beer, but bready is the best word. You know it when you taste it. Caramel is the number one thing you're going to notice. It's it's not.
Like, it still has that Budweiser taste, but
It's super light. It just has a little bit of a oak kind of barrel finish.
yeah, it's pretty good. It doesn't have that, like, not stringency, but just that kind of, like, little back of the throat feel you get from a Budweiser. Not to say bite either. I'm good at descriptions.
Yeah.
But
now, so yeah, essentially, as they describe here, it's going to say you get the toasted oak aroma, nutty taste with caramel, rye, and vanilla, and a smooth finish. And that's pretty much spot on. Like I said, it's I don't know if it's better or worse. I was actually expecting it to be a little worse. Yeah, now we're only, like a few sips in, but
it's not bad, though.
yeah, not bad at all. So we'll see. We'll go through this and maybe another bottle.
Well, I mean, to go back to Mr. Weiss guy, I didn't even know about this until you told me about it last week. So
yeah, same here. I saw the
good marketing, Budweiser.
I saw the commercial, like I said, a couple weeks ago when I brought it up. All right, so I wanted us to talk about. We did this last year. We're going to do it again.
New year, new us, new games. It's getting closer.
All right, either broken over your head or this is going somewhere.
Ooh.
Say it again. I'll insert this into you. So help me God. Your balloon knot is going over the end.
Jesus.
All right. So
Subtle.
Positive, guys. So I just brought up a random list of some of the most anticipated games, but I just want to talk about off the top of our heads and just generally what games are we looking forward to the most. With that, before we go through the list, and we're not going to mention every one, just call out ones that we're more excited for than now.
Yeah, like I looked through the list earlier, and some of them look pretty cool.
Yeah.
A lot of friggin' like future dystopian monster open world shit. Like, I guess a lot of people are trying to copy the Horizon Zero Dawn formula.
Yeah. So one interesting one I heard nothing about, but this Ancestors: The Humankind Odyssey. It's as described here, and this is on Polygon.com. Link will be below. It has the 50 most anticipated games.
Polygon.
But it's set in the early years of humankind's evolution, set in a lush, beautiful Africa. It's the story of colonies of apes and proto-humans at different points in the evolutionary journey, interacting with their environment. So it's like a third person, almost like Fallout, but it's like just basically in the jungle. Could be interesting. I liked when Far Cry did the Primal and went back and did like the more caveman things.
Yeah, that kind of came and went.
Yeah, and that was a really, really fun game. And I always thought, like, you should maybe make more games like that instead of always doing futuristic. So I guess they're going down that path.
Yeah, Animal Crossing, a ton of people are hyped for. I know that.
Can I add? Okay. The Animal Crossing thing. Now,
I've never played it.
Maybe it's just the people we're friends with on Twitch. It seems like that game gets loved so goddamn hard. Like, when people get into it, they get obsessed. Is it really just because of, like, the story? Like, or is it just the fact that you can do shit in it? I don't get it.
I think it's a combination of just, like, the characters, the kind of addictive gameplay, because you're basically just, what is it, you're taking care of...
Like, you get a little farm.
Yeah.
And then from there, literally, you can grow your farm, but, like, you can fish, decorate your house, meet your neighbors, get relationships.
Yeah.
Think of the Sims, almost, but with, like, animals and in a little and done in that style of art.
I know there's like different events with, different times of day and times of the year and crap like that. So I just know people get really immersed into it.
They're sucked into it. And me and you, I know.
And like why all the people who love that love Stardew so much. It's kind of like the same thing.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that will be interesting. I know one game that I've seen a lot of stuff for is Anthem, which once again, I feel like this is the big potential flop of next year because they're building it up the same way they built up Destiny. And not to say Destiny didn't do great.
And they're saying it's like Destiny too.
Exactly. It's very Destiny-like, except it's apparently even bigger, even more shit.
And I mean,
It's
BioWare.
it's basically Destiny and Titanfall, I think, combined.
Yeah, I mean, BioWare doesn't make bad games.
They
so.
don't, but I don't know. I feel like the hype and how many more things can we do? Futuristic, mech suits, like it's like zombie games. It's getting a little stale.
Yeah, there's a few zombie games I saw on this list, and I'm just like, why? Like,
Well, there is one zombie game I'm interested in, but we'll get to that.
yeah.
Atomic Heart.
I watched the trailer for that. That was a good trailer.
It looks goddamn good.
It's another one that's futuristic with, mutant robots and shit like that.
Very Fallout 4-ish, and it's like Fallout 4 mixed with almost like a PUBG to a degree would be a good way to describe it, maybe.
Maybe. Set in Russia, so...
Yeah.
Like, Biomutant, I saw that, I was like, why? Like...
Yeah, open world action RPG, creatures, you fight.
I thought Bloodstained already came out.
I did too, which... I don't know. Yeah, it's saying it's...
Maybe it's getting like a wide release instead of just for the Kickstarter people, or I don't know. Maybe
so
I'm wrong on that.
as soon as I saw Code Vein, I thought...
I'll show them a Code Vein. Like Nick?
Where's the microscope? Oh, wait, being positive.
Damn it.
But did you want... Start up with that Grand Slam.
Just, God damn it.
So Code Vein, right away I looked at it and I thought, oh, kind of looks like Devil May Cry. And then... Apparently, it's a vampire-themed combat adventure that's similar to Dark Souls, more likely.
Yeah, okay.
So, okay. It should be interesting. The Conan games, Conan and Conquered, that original one was Exiles.
Maybe.
That was the one that got a bunch of shit because, like, you could, like, have the dude's naked wang just, like...
Oh, yeah, you could customize the size of his bird.
Yeah, and then, was that the game? No, I guess it wasn't. I can't remember the name of the game. Remember the one that like people were up in arms because you couldn't actually pick your sex, and some people were getting pissed. Like it would automatically make you one or the other.
I have no idea.
Either way,
but this is a real-time strategy, right? And they're doing a remake of Command and Conquer, so that should be cool.
Should be interesting. Don't know what Control is.
The guys who did Alan Wake and Quantum Break, which ambitious games that no one really ever cared about.
I feel like those
Alan Wake had a lot of hype.
When you play it, you're like, God damn, that's a good game. But for whatever reason, I can't get enough hype.
Yeah, I do want to eventually play Alan Wake, but I'm just not. I'll probably never get to it.
Crackdown 3. I actually have Crackdown 1, maybe 2. I never played it.
I know people love 1, and I know 2 just got shit on because it was like 1 again.
Yeah. So this is a zombie game I am interested in. Days Gone.
Oh, as soon as I saw this, I was just like, no.
So my whole thing is it's a legit... It seems like it's a better version of State of Decay. And we talked about State of Decay. We liked that game.
Yeah.
But the action is a little more fluid, and I think what you do and the amount of zombies you're fighting are a lot bigger. And that's something I've always... Since I got into zombies, I always wanted to like have a legit world filled with a bunch of zombies that, you figure out a way to survive. So we'll see how that turns out. Devil May Cry 5. You're the bigger fan of this series. Do you have any interest?
I'll get it when it's cheap.
Okay.
I'm kind of done with hack and slash games at this point, so yeah, but I'll play it.
Division 2. Division 1 obviously did pretty well. It had a lot of shit when it first came out, but yeah, that's another one I just never got into, but it looked good. Doom. Is that going to be a definite new buy for you?
Yeah.
You won't wait at all?
Doom will be a new buy.
Okay. Do you... Yeah, I mean, I don't see how it could go bad. Even if they kept exactly the same formula and had minor things, which honestly, from what I saw, kind of looks like they're adding like more power add-ons, but it's the same game.
Whatever, fine.
Which is fine.
Doom.
Yeah. Don't Know Dreams. Far Cry New Dawn.
Another Far Cry?
Well, it's their follow-up to 5, and the trailer got a lot of attention because it's like basically Far Cry for the first time is doing post-apocalyptic.
Ah, okay.
So think of that like Fallout 4, but set in this world, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, good work.
Fire Emblem, Three Houses. I've never played a Fire Emblem. I love their characters in Smash.
Yeah.
Gears 5. So Jim and I did this before, and I think this year this is one of our goals, and I'm just telling you this now.
Oh, great.
But I want us to go through and play and stream beating all the Gears of War games.
Oh,
Because they're
okay.
great co-op. They're one of my favorite co-op games.
We were playing the first one for like a couple years ago.
It's hard as shit. All the games are hard as shit. I don't know if they got easier as time went on. Don't know this one. Don't know. Jump Force.
It's a fighting game with
Dragon
anime
Ball.
characters.
Okay.
Well, anyone from Shonen Jump, so that'll have its audience.
Did you ever play the Kingdom Hearts game?
Nah, I wanted to back in the day. I just never got around to it. I know people love them.
Love them. This game looks great. My one ex that was her favorite. She didn't play video games, and that's what she loved. So I know it's probably a fun game, and that's a series, another one I want to like try sometime.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do reviews.
Maybe we will.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. So this is one thing that excited me. It did and didn't excite me. I've been a huge Marvel Ultimate Alliance fan. It's the same engine as the X-Men Legends games. Jim, what's your X-Men Legends too?
It's a good question, Brian. It's a very good question.
So I know the first Marvel Ultimate Alliance did amazing. The second one got a little bit of shit, but I loved it. So they're finally coming back. And I don't know why they took such a break, because they were doing all those games right before the Marvel really took off in the movies. And then like the movies came out and they stopped making them. Like, that's stupid.
They kind of stopped making a lot of their games in general.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, the Marvel Ultimate Alliance...
Hey, Brian, how about that Iron Man game we got you for your birthday? Tied in with the
don't
movie.
worry, we'll get to that.
Oh.
So it takes... Think of every franchise in Marvel. You create a team of superheroes, sometimes with villains. You can almost RPG style, like find costumes and pieces to level your characters up. And in the latest Marvel game, they could do, I forget what they were called. They were like fusion powers. So like if Iron Man was shooting his stuff, they actually used it in the movie. Cap would hold up his shield and it would like, shoot shit everywhere. So finally they're coming out with the third game. It's called the Black Order, obviously with Thanos. And it's a Switch exclusive, which that bothers me. Even though I have a Switch. Because that inherently means, and I know you're going to hate this.
Okay.
It's not going to be as good of a looking and playing game as it could have been if it was released for all systems.
Probably, but with the art style they use, doesn't really need to.
Well, the latest art style, like I looked at this and it looks back to Legend style, like the X-Men games, which is fine.
More cell shaded.
More like the last one was very realistic, like much more realistic.
Yeah.
So I guess they're just going back to just cell shade it. I'm gonna get it, but I'm just. I wish.
Team Ninja's working on it, which they always put out some pretty good stuff. And I mean, I'm glad as shit I have my Switch because I can't wait to get that.
Yeah.
And just to have like a good beat 'em up game too.
Yeah.
Like it's got all its RPG elements in it, but just to have a good brawler, that's just fun to have back.
Metro, I actually just started the first Metro a little while ago. It was pretty damn fun. It's another series that people really love.
Yep.
So I'm glad to see they're
still
making
going.
another one.
Mortal Kombat.
Oh.
Right, how about that trailer?
I liked it.
The music was weird.
The music was a very, very odd choice. I was more excited just because it was Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, come on. We know Sub-Zero's the big character. Stop fucking playing with Scorpion. But, all right.
But he has the cool saying.
Yeah. So, obviously, we know what the best fighter of the next year is going to be. I'm
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah. You can't... I feel like you can't even debate it. A lot more mech shit. The Pathless... So that looks very similar. So it's the same people who made the Abzu and I forget the Journey games. That art style, I don't even know what you would call that. It's very unique, and you know it when you see it. So I'm sure that'll be like one of those kind of like black sheep games that people are going to play and really love.
Right, the guys who made Flower.
Never mind then.
Planetside Arena, I mean, 250 on 250 battles.
I feel like that's going to be a bug central.
That's just always seems to be the kind of thing. It's PC only, but it
Yeah.
always seems to be the kind of thing that never works out.
So that means no one's going to play it.
What was that? What was that one that was coming out for console? That came out for consoles like years ago, back in the PS3 era. That was supposed to be like 100 on 100 death matches and crap like that. It was online only, and no one bought it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think the servers went down like after a year too.
Probably. Hey, good luck with that. Psychonauts 2.
Never played the first.
Yeah, I'm shocked because I know that got a lot of attention.
That was always a cult favorite.
Another one.
Rage, I'm surprised is coming back because the first one flopped.
Well, what's interesting is they're doing Rage while they have Doom. It's like I feel like you're splitting.
Yeah, Rage was like the game we got because we weren't getting Doom for a while.
Yeah, so very interesting. My personal guess that my favorite game of the next year is going to be Resident Evil 2. If you've seen the footage, it looks friggin' awesome.
It looks ridiculous.
Creepy as shit. And, yeah, this was, I mean, after they did the Resident Evil 1 remake, they even did a Resident Evil 0 HD re-upping, if you will. Everyone's like, where the fuck is Resident Evil 2? And I'm really glad they did wait. Because clearly...
They're doing what they did with the Resident Evil 1 remake, where it's a redo of the ground up. So it's not just, making it smoother like they did with 0.
Do you think, and I really hope they'll do a Resident Evil 3?
I don't know. I don't know if Resident Evil 3 has the fan base behind it.
I hope they do.
I mean, we're talking here about, it's been, 17 years since maybe 15 since the first time they released the Resident Evil 1 remake. So it's not like they churn it out. So maybe they could in another decade or so. Yeah. You never know.
But no, that's definitely... I can't imagine me not liking that game.
Yeah. If they put the same effort into it, it should be good.
Yeah. Shenmue 3. So...
I never played Shenmue.
Loved the original Shenmue. That was, when I got my Dreamcast, of course, the game you got to get. Never played Shenmue 2. Don't know if they needed to make this, but...
It's got the fan base behind it.
It's got a fan base. Another pirate game, Skull and Bones. I feel like those have really been getting churned out more and more. It's like, okay, I'm not going to play it.
Yeah. Oh, this got my attention. So, a Star Wars game made by the people who did the Titanfall games.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. It takes event after the 3rd episode, when the Jedi are being hunted.
After episode 3.
So, yeah, I guess all we can do is wait and see what's going to come.
It's supposed to be coming out late 2019, so we'll see if it even comes out at all.
Jim, here's a game you'd probably play. Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah, sign me up.
You're a goose on the loose in your village.
Wait, is it on the Switch? I'll take 3.
It is on the Switch.
Well, there we go.
Sure, that'll be a game goddamn Jim wastes his time on. Another Wolfenstein game. Dude,
I still haven't played any of them.
So Wolfenstein is the reason you got Doom.
Right, I know.
Like that game is, so if you like Doom, there's no excuse not to go back and play the Wolfensteins.
Yeah.
Yoshi's
I do want Yoshi.
Crafted World. Did not hear about this.
When they had their first Switch trailer at that one Nintendo Direct, they showed like a little glimpse of Yoshi, and it looks like it's just a follow-up to Woolly World, but I mean, I loved Woolly World, so... It's just so cute.
I'm not saying nothing.
So cute.
So, those are some of the more well-known games that are going to be coming out. If we didn't hit anything, you guys tell us below what are games you're looking forward to, and what from that list, are you most excited for?
I think my big 3 for next year are going to be Resident Evil, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and...
Doom.
Yeah, probably Doom.
Yeah.
I was going to say Yoshi to piss you off, but I do want Doom more.
Yeah, mine Resident Evil, Doom, and...
Yoshi?
No.
Yeah, the Switch.
I will get Marvel, but I am interested in that Days Gone. However, I think that game could flop really hard, and it'll probably suck. I don't want to say it probably will, but it has the most potential to.
I think zombie games in general at this point really need to hit out of the park for people to care.
They do, for sure. All right. So let us know below what you guys think. All right, moving on. So we've been talking throughout this podcast about the fact that I just got a Switch. Jim and I both got Smash for it, and just wanted to generally talk about thoughts. This game was one of the driving factors in me really wanting a Switch when it was announced, middle of the year.
Right.
And yeah, I'm not disappointed. What I will say, what I am disappointed in, is something Jim and I talked about. The Switch itself, the controller, and
using the Joy-Cons with it.
Yeah, and I know that you can plug in the GameCube controller. I'm not going to do that.
You're not going to buy the dongle for it?
No. I'm getting more used to it, but yeah, inherently the Switch, that controller it's a little it's like too small, and it's silly to say. It's clearly made for kids. Like, an adult's hands, I feel like, are just too big for that. No matter whether you have it on the Joy-Cons on the actual controller, like whatever palette, if you want to call it,
right,
or on the Switch itself. But yeah, no, the game is, damn. Other than people who might have an issue with the actual gameplay, it's the best Switch game. It has every character from every Switch. The soundtrack is fucking amazing. The fact that you can pick your own soundtrack is awesome. The just sheer amount of things you can do, it's undeniable to me that it's not the best game.
There's so much goddamn content in it.
There's so much, and you know what did piss me off? I didn't realize this, and I know we talked about it. So I can't play you unless you're here locally. I can't play you online unless I buy that online service.
Oh, yeah, you need to buy Switch Online.
So that sucks.
What we talked about before.
Yeah. So, yeah, that sucks.
It's very cheap, though.
It is, but it sucks.
Yeah, I know. But it's like anything with these days with online multiplayer. Like we talked about before. We talked about this a couple podcasts ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was free for like a year and a half, and then they're like, oh, we're charging you now, so.
Well, and still, as I said when we talked about that, when I didn't have a Switch, my number one problem with that, even if it's cheap, it is obviously cheaper. You gotta, if you're gonna charge me for that shit, you gotta include some kind of ability to talk to you. You gotta include some shit with, like, come on, man, not just like we can play Tecmo Bowl now, like, no.
With dedicated servers.
Yeah, like, come on, you gotta up your game a little bit more, guys. One thing, and I mean, you'd pretty much agree. You love the game, right?
Oh, yeah.
So one thing I was reading, so I was trying to figure out, like, how do I do certain things? I haven't played Smash in so long.
Right.
I didn't know if it was a normal thing to have so few characters when you first open a game, because you get, 8 right off the bat?
This is probably the least amount of characters you get since the original.
So
off the bat.
There is a...
Like, they really make you work for that roster.
So basically, it's a timed thing, from what I understand, between every time a new challenger approaches. It's not about if you win a battle. It's just how much time you're actually playing. And after, usually for me, if I'm doing each match is like 2 or 3 minutes, and I'd say every 2 or 3 matches, I get a new challenger. You play them. If you lose, then you get the option to replay them again if you go into the vault. I go online just to see, like, okay, how many people are there? What's the order you get the challengers? Because there is an order. You can also get to the certain people faster if you go through the adventure mode, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's like the Spirit Adventure or something.
Well, there's a Light World.
The Light World, yeah.
That's the Light World. But there's a classic adventure you can go through.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So... I've just been playing this. I did a little bit of Light World. I didn't care so much about the order.
That actually, Light World gets hard fast.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised. Like, I put a good amount of hours into it.
Yeah.
And then I just hit this one wall. And I'm just like, holy shit. Like, I'm doing the individual Spirit, like, events right now just to grind out my Spirit characters and make it better for that.
But I had a big issue, and I wanted to see your thoughts on this. Everyone has this real easy glitch that allows you to unlock people faster. So essentially, like, you set the timer really low, you play, and then, like, if you win or lose, you hit home, and then it resets the timer. So, like, it tricks the game, and they keep giving you new challengers faster.
I'm not doing that.
That's some cheap shit. Like, come on, guys. The whole fucking point of the game is to play it. And, oh, I'm sorry you didn't get your ice climbers first.
I think there are people bitching that you have to go through and unlock all the characters.
What the fuck? Like, that's the point of the game. These are probably the people that bitch about it, or the same people that bitch that there's things out there that are pay to win. Or, like, oh, you just unlock everything if you pay for it. Like, dude, the point of this game is to play it. And, yes, I'm playing... I also think it's fucking dirt cheap if you go through and keep playing as the same character only to just make sure you win every time a challenger comes instead of like trying to challenge yourself. I'm playing as people I don't give a shit about. I'm never going to play as again. I suck as Ness. Jim was one of those annoying kids who would play as him.
I learned how to master him back in the N64 days.
I hate him, but I still try to play as him. Like, that's the fucking point of the game. So if you're out there, there's no excuse. I don't care if you don't have your favorite character, if you don't have your Meta Knight or whoever. Just play the fucking game.
I think this is a, what do you call it? Like, it's a love letter to Smash fans, too, because it has everything from all the games.
Everything. And I'm sure there's hardcore Smash fans.
I don't need 17 Fire Emblem characters, like, personally, but...
I haven't had an issue with the characters, although the only thing I would say is a little cheap is that there are characters, I forget what they call them in this one, is it like shadow characters that are the same, there's palette swaps.
Oh, yeah, like Dark Pit and shit like that.
So there's Simon and Richter, and I thought they were different, but they're not. And you unlock them very far in between each other. So I was kind of like, well, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean, Smash has always kind of had that, especially now since the friggin' roster is so big. Like,
well, all I'm saying is for the
like even back in Melee, like Ganondorf and someone else were kind of almost exactly the same.
But what I'm saying is, like, if you're gonna have it like that, I'm cool, but don't make me unlock them different. Like, just unlock Simon and Richter at the same time. Then, if they're the same,
yeah.
Like, or just do strictly a palette swap, or like make it a costume. Either way. I can't say enough fun about the game. I actually haven't played any online because I haven't bought the online. So me and Jim will probably play when we're next to each other. But yeah, I am loving playing as some of the new characters. I suck as Ridley right now.
Haven't gotten her yet.
And I love playing as Simon. But I love Castlevania, so I force myself. It takes a lot of getting used to because he sucks up close. Like his whip, like you basically have to be at a distance. But no, I really like it so far.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a lot of fun. I've always liked Smash. Outside of 3DS one, I own all of them. But
yeah,
and like I even really loved Brawl, and that's the one people hate the most. So,
but isn't that more because of like
it's because of the random tripping?
That, and then I thought also because there was a lot more. They had the bigger issues with like the Meta Knight and some of the characters being overpowered. More than they did in Melee.
There was a little balancing with some of the characters, and in general is geared more towards casual in general. So the hardcores were pissed off with it because of the tripping and just the overall game mechanics. Like, oh, nothing can touch Melee. So this is actually the first one that I think people are really saying is a contender outside of just straight up Melee.
Yeah, and I decided...
And my problem with like the 3DS Wii U generation was the single player was like nothing really. Like there was no like Brawl had such a cool adventure mode that there's a lot of padding in it, but you put a lot of time to that shit.
Yeah.
And all the single player options that like Melee had, like sure, adventure in that you could get through it in 20 minutes, but you just had so many mini games and shit like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like so the Wii U one felt like such a backstep for that it's cool to see in this one there's just such an emphasis on single player too.
Yeah. So if you're out there and for some reason you don't like it, I would love to hear why.
I will say it took me a while to get used to the Joy-Cons too.
The Switch itself, I've played this and Breath of the Wild, and in both cases that controller's rough.
And the problem too is that Nintendo has a boner about like every console these days, like they all have the diamond-shaped buttons, and it's always the bottom button was like your primary one. Except for goddamn Nintendo, it's got to be the one on the right because it's the A button. It's been that since fucking 1983.
It's like,
just make it.
And I know you can adjust it because that was my number one issue with Smash. I started playing. I'm like,
make the damn bottom button.
Yeah, I had an issue with that, but it's Nintendo, so I don't expect better. And yeah, the buttons are just too tight. Like, make it a little wider.
Yeah, like even the Wii U's buttons were bigger, so like it wasn't as fun of a game, but it was easier to control.
And that console sucked, but yeah.
Yeah, that was coming.
So let us know what you guys think below. Like you said, I'm really even more curious of anyone who doesn't like the game and give reasons why.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear that.
Yeah. All right, so the next we are continuing with one of our reoccurring bits, which is better, and this comes to us actually from Jim. He set it up. Buying used games or game services like Game Pass, or I assume you mean like Xbox Gold, things like that.
No, I mean the Xbox Game Pass thing where you can pay $10 and you can basically almost just rent games.
Oh, okay.
Like it'll download to your console, but then when you want to do another game, it'll get rid of that info, download that game. It's like almost like temporary having it on your system.
So that was the thing, I guess, I was kind of confused about, since I don't do the Game Pass and I know PlayStation has a version of it. So you don't, when you download it, you can only do one game at a time?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh. Okay.
Because I was when I was down in Texas for Thanksgiving, my in-law, they have it, and it was kind of cool because if you wanted to play a game, you could just download it. It's almost like flashing it on your hard drive. Now, depending on the size of the game, it'll take a while, but
so it's an excuse.
But it gives you a big catalog of games that like you never fully clog up your.
But you're not keeping them, so
You're not keeping them forever now.
So it's
and I believe the games switch in and out what they have. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
But basically, what I want to say is, what's like kind of the better option for cheap gaming? Buying games used, or just getting these, almost like rental services?
So would you not? So with used, will you throw in there just buying digital games?
Well, you can't buy like.
I'm not talking about. I'm saying non-physical copies, but things that you will be able to keep forever.
Oh, what do you mean, like a Steam sale almost?
Steam, or like on Xbox when a game is like $5 and
yeah, I didn't even think of it that way. I guess we could throw that in.
Okay. So I don't do the game services, and I didn't do it kind of for the reason you're describing. I didn't even like the idea of the Game Pass when I thought. See, I just opened it the other way again. I didn't even.
We're too used to the highbrow
yeah,
shit.
I didn't like the idea of the Game Pass when I thought you were keeping it, because I thought that eventually the games are kind of like, it's like Netflix, like they have a license for the game for so long and then it goes away.
That's a good way to think of it, as Netflix for games.
So I like it for the ability for someone to try a bunch of new games. Although most games today, I feel like you need to invest so much time into that they're not pick up and play. So it's like you're not going to get the bang for your buck if you're going to go through and really play a game. Buying used games obviously is always kind of a crapshoot, whether you're doing physical or Xbox, because you might just be picking up a game that you've always wanted to play and it might suck or it might not. Used games in the physical realm are always obviously a little tricky because the disc could be fucked up or there could be something physically wrong with it. And you're not retaining any value for that game. Like, even if you're paying $10, if you ever go to return it, you're getting nothing back.
Right.
So, I will always go the route of just buying a game, and me and you, I think, are pretty similar. Like, on Xbox, I bought an extra 3 terabyte hard drive just for games when they go on sale. Like, I always get games as soon as they come on sale for Xbox. I think I counted. I have like something like 78 games or something.
Jesus.
Just because, this game that I've heard about, it's like $5, $10. Why not get it? But now I have a fucking backlog of games that I don't know if I'll ever get to. And some of them, honestly, I don't know if I'll ever play, but I just keep getting them.
Right.
So, yeah, it's like...
And you mean outside of like the free ones you download just because they're free with games for gold?
Outside of games with gold, yeah. So, honestly... I probably am wasting more money doing it my way, so it might even make sense for me to do Game Pass, but honestly, because we don't have the time, I don't think I would have enough time to go through and play a game, and then I feel like I wouldn't be getting enough of my money's worth if I'm not at least beating a game once a month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of tough. I'd like the availability of Game Pass for people to try new things. It's kind of like
and it's cool with that
store.
because they'll put brand new games on there too.
Yeah, and to me it's like the old movie rental store.
Yeah, like I know when like that Sea of Thieves came out, like everyone who was really playing that a lot did it with Game Pass.
Game Pass.
Yeah.
Shit, man. I don't know. Now that I was convinced in my mind that.
Now, I don't think every single new game comes out, but I think a couple will.
But I was completely convinced it's going used. I don't know, because we just went through a list of games like that are going to be coming out this year.
Right.
And
there's a shitload of them I would like to just play it or try it, especially with the way I never finish it anyway. But you're not going to buy new,
right? Obviously. So, yeah, man. I don't know. Game Pass is. I won't do it, but if I'm trying to look at it from a higher level, that might be a better option than just throwing permanent money out there. Granted, you're putting out money for the Game Pass, but I think with Game Pass, you're almost guaranteed to get something you like because you're just trying it.
Yeah.
But I know someone like you who's a huge collector boner.
Right.
That's probably going to hate the idea of like, not only do you not get physical, you don't even get to keep a digital copy of it. So
I was going to get into that when I did my turn.
So I don't know. What do you think?
See, I would have been really skeptical of Game Pass at first if I hadn't seen it in action. And it actually is pretty damn impressive with like just the amount of shit you get with it. Like it isn't like, even with the comparison to Netflix, it isn't like you're getting a game that's like, D-list movie with Corey Feldman quality that you get with Netflix.
Yeah.
Like it's for them, like you'll have a lot of old shit on there, but it's still gonna be pretty good for the most part. So seeing it in action, it's pretty cool. And like we said, I'm more the collector type, so if I'm gonna spend money on anything, I wanna have it. Even if I have the mental block of I have the copy of it, I have the data on me somehow. Even though like all my Xbox One games, when servers and shit like that go down, or if I don't keep up with all the patches every single time before the system's like 20 years old, a lot of the games will be bricked, kind of deal like that. So, especially with, it's weird with this like the 7th gen, like the PS3, Xbox 360 situation, because like a lot of the games for that now, you can get them for like 3 for $10.
Yeah. Like
and good games too, like Saints Row the Third I just got for PS3.
Amazing game.
Right. I hear it's amazing. I don't know when the hell I'll ever get to it, but if I spend $3 on it, I'll just put it on a shelf and maybe eventually play it.
Yeah.
So at the other end though, like for me, Game Pass wouldn't be worth it because I don't have the time.
Yeah.
I don't have the time to get my money's worth out of it, even if it is $10 a month. So for me, it works out better to just have the game, put it on a shelf, and get to it when I can. And if it's used, then hopefully it'll be dirt cheap by then.
So I guess though.
But I mean, if you're going to come from like the whole games preservation thing or the collector kind of field, of course you're not going to go for it. But
yeah, and
seeing it in action, it's actually it's pretty good service.
But let's be honest, I hate people who use the term game preservationist, because people who have like, I have 50 NES games, I'm a no, you're not. Like there are legit ones out there,
right?
So even if you're just a hardcore collector,
you need to be the guy with the full TI 99 collection. Yeah.
Like okay, so if you're a game collector like you just said, Saints Row the Third, great game. You don't know if you'll ever get to it because you're playing games like Flower. So the thing is, that game, not only did it cost you money, but you figure now it's just taking up space.
Right.
And most likely, let's say you never get to it, you're just going to sell it off for $1 at a garage sale. Like, you're never going to get any more value. You're never going to get
I'll never make a cent on that. Yeah.
Or you're just going to give it away. So it's like, at the end of the day, was it even worth it for you to do that? But like you're saying, if you get Game Pass, you put out that money yearly, monthly, whatever it is.
Monthly, I think.
And you're probably, I feel like it's like a gym membership. If you're putting out money monthly, there's a mental block like, okay, I need to at least play one fucking game. So you're going to play at least new games that you probably wouldn't.
That's a good point. If you play at least one $60 game a month using that,
then it's probably worth your money.
Right.
Whereas, it might only be $3 for Saints Row 3, but then you might have like 6 games at 3, but like you might keep adding it up, and now you're also taking physical space.
Right.
So this is a tougher one than I thought. I know I go the path of used games and even the digital used games, but Game Pass, honestly, putting our shit aside of not having time, I think if you're single, it's without a doubt do Game Pass, because I did GameFly for a while for this reason, to just try games. Man, I think just having physical copies of shit, or just even digital physical copies, like trying to get hard drives, that's just going to go away, because
I think, honestly, when everything's almost all digital anyway, Game Pass is the way to go.
Oh, I think we've said this from...
Yeah, almost even today, like I said, with like patching and shit like that, and you buy a disc, you only have like 30% if you're lucky of the game data on there. You're still downloading most of it anyway. So
yeah, up until PS3, that gen, was it 7th gen you said?
Yeah. You would have the game on a disc.
You would have it, like, so yeah, PS2, all those, like, you still need to go out and get it. But PS3, you know, almost every game, that and even Xbox 360 are basically compatible with the new ones, and they usually end up as a digital. Like, for a perfect example, we're going through and doing Resident Evil. I'm playing Resident Evil 6, and I have the physical Resident Evil 6 360 copy. I went to put it in my Xbox One thinking it would be compatible. It's not. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? So I don't have my 360 hooked up right now because I mostly do my One or PS4 or something. And then I looked on the store, and it was on sale for $5. And it was upgraded for Xbox One. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just get it there. Like, to me, it was worth it just to do that than, like, hook up the old Xbox, probably get the update. Like, I knew it was going to be a whole big thing. I was already hooked up with my Xbox One to my game capture. So I just went and bought it. After I beat it for this review, I'm never going to play it again. So it probably was a waste, but like there's a thing of convenience that I think our generation and most generations, like, man, what's going to be convenient? And in the future, all games when they go just digital, which will happen.
Like, you know, one thing I will say, what do you call it? Like, I'm the collector guy, so I want to have the games and shit like that. Blah, 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 blah. I hate switching out cards on my Switch.
Yeah.
I wish that I was the type that I could just download it to the fucking Switch and just boot a game up whenever I want. Yeah. It's such a minor inconvenience, but given the convenience of the Switch, I hate doing it.
Yeah. So, shit, man. As far as which is better, honestly, I've never done Game Pass. I think if you're single and you have the time, without a doubt, Game Pass is the way to go. I haven't used it personally. Us talking about it, maybe in a couple years when my kids are older and I have some time, I might do it. But I do the buying used games, but honestly, I think for the biggest bang for your buck, for modern consoles, keep that in mind. We're not talking NES, obviously. Yeah, that's probably the way to go.
Yeah, I'll say for everything before this generation, buy the used game.
Yeah.
For this generation, though, Game Pass is really the way to go.
Probably moving forward as well.
Yeah, probably. And more things are just going to adopt a system like it.
Yeah. So let us know what you guys think. If you use Game Pass or whatever the PS version is, I'm kind of curious. I'm still hesitant because we don't have the time. But yeah, used games, I feel like I'm seeing a pattern of I keep buying, and I know I don't go back. Like, a perfect example.
Oh, this is $2 now. I'll get it.
Yeah.
Will I ever play it? Well,
who knows? Yeah. But yeah, if I added up all that, I'm like, it might actually even out to what I would pay for a Game Pass. And like I said, Game Pass, I would mentally force myself like, well, fuck, the new game's out. I might as well download it and get a few hours in.
Right.
And like you said, if it's a $60 game, that pays for it right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. That's a good one. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, go me. I thought of it on the toilet.
Where else are you, Jim?
That's a good point. That's where I do all my best thinking.
All right. So,
this is how I set it up for the over and under sides. So, since, you said I had the easier one last time, I think I gave you the easier one, but it's up to you. Which one you want to take?
I'll take it. It don't matter to me. I thought you were giving the one you preferred.
No, I thought I was going to give you the easier side.
Oh, okay. No, I'm fine with this. So as we said last time with overrated, underrated, we're now designating one of us has to argue on one side, one the other. So Jim put up the arcade stick controllers. And Jim is going to do underrated. I'm going to do overrated. So there's no point giving backstory. Jim actually does. What do you have? 2 different arcade sticks?
Well, I have the one for the 360, and I think that's the only arcade stick I have.
A PS3 one.
Nah, I don't.
Okay. So Jim has it, and for those of you who aren't aware, it seemed to be. I'm sure they have for Xbox One, but for 360 and PS3, I know it was a lot more popular. They did Street Fighter editions, Mortal Kombat editions.
I mean, every single generation's had them, even going back to like the NES Advance or Advantage.
So the high level, what I will say about these is that they're primarily made for fighting games.
For the most part.
So, Jim, you're underrated. So let me hear you defend why arcade sticks are underrated.
Look, Brian.
Controllers.
So maybe you have to put out a little bit more cost for these.
All right,
Let me ask you a simple question, though.
before we do that,
All right?
I looked at the prices, at least for newer consoles.
They really vary.
They do. And let's say you're not going to go out and just buy dirt cheap shit.
Like you can buy they go from like $50. You can be spending $300 fucking bucks.
Okay, so I was just going to leave it at like, let's say 50, 60 is an average, right?
Maybe like 100
Okay.
for an okay one.
Okay.
For a pretty good one.
So you tell me why a $100 arcade stick. Tell me why it's underrated, Jim.
Well, let's put it this way, Bri. If you're going to be spending money on controllers, won't you want the most control you can possibly have, the most accuracy, the best input, just the best way to do it in general, especially if you're playing an arcade game? Wouldn't you want to have the true experience?
So why wouldn't I go to the arcade?
Where find an arcade. Find an arcade that isn't a barcade.
MAME.
All right, if you're playing with MAME, though, wouldn't you just love to have that experience with you? To have an arcade stick controller to do that? You're not going to want to use a controller for old school arcade games. You're not going to use mouse and keyboard and go click, 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 click. It's not how you're going to do it. You want to have that. You want to have that clicky stick. You want to have those buttons right there, ready for the pinpoint accuracy. And let's put it this way: say for the Switch, new set of Joy-Cons, you're paying like $80. Why wouldn't you just put a few more bucks out there just
Why
to
would
get?
you need to buy a new set?
If you have friends over, regardless, maybe you like having all the different colors. I don't know. But if you're going to go that route, why don't you just spend... Sure, you could buy the PlayStation Pro controller, but that's like any other controller out there. That's almost barely, some could say, an improvement over the Joy-Cons. I mean, it feels better, but it's not like you're really getting all that much of an advantage. But what if you just have an arcade stick for $100 then? Say you're using it for Smash. Say you're using it for the SNK collections and shit like that. For your perfect control. Why wouldn't you just go that route? Why don't you just spend just a little bit more for the long run of permanent fun and not being able to say, oh, goddamn controllers, if I had a good controller, this would have worked better. Or if I had a pure arcade input, I would have been the player that I could be. Sometimes you got to pay just a little bit more, Bri, just to have the better experiences in life.
Okay. So, what I'll say is, I mean, with regular controllers, I already always win. So, there's that. Let's just put that out there.
Okay.
I mean, other than maybe Street Fighter 2, there's not a game you're beating me at with regular controllers.
All right.
So we'll just throw that little daffodil out there. So, we just got done talking about games you're going to pay for. You're talking about $100, Jim. You're okay at math, right?
Uh-huh. Debatable.
But let's say really high level, fucking amazing games are on sale for $5 a game.
Right.
How many $5 games should you get for $100, Jim?
You can get a lot.
So right there, you just wasted it all on a controller that essentially you could only play with one game style, fighting games. Because let's face it, you're not going to be playing Grand Theft Auto with your arcade stick.
True.
You're not going to... Yeah, maybe a shoot 'em up.
Shooters you can do, definitely.
I could say maybe, but let's be honest. The comfort level is a big issue with those arcade sticks because after a while, your hand will get a lot more tired going like this versus just holding a controller and being comfortable.
What, are you playing a Neo Geo with your friggin' angle here?
Listen, when you're playing your arcade, your little stick, when you have your stick in your hand, when you're holding something in your hand like you're used to.
I was waiting for the dick joke there.
All I'm saying is, well, do you like being comfortable, Jim?
I tend to like it.
Do you like it? All right. So, do you want to be comfortable or uncomfortable?
They sit right in your lap. They're very
All right,
comfortable.
So, when you have an Xbox 360 or Xbox One controller in your hand, or you got to put that goddamn pad on your lap, what's going to be more comfortable, Jim? Or you got to sit on a table and hunched over like a goddamn masturbator. What are you going to be more comfortable with?
I don't know, Bri.
What are you going to be more comfortable with, Jim?
I think if it just sits right there, and if a well-built machine that just sits right on your lap, you can make it work.
And when you're really in a game, what's the number one thing people...
Right, if you watch Evo, they're just all sitting with their arcade sticks on their dicks.
It's funny you brought up Evo, because here's the deal. I actually a few weeks ago, I don't know how I fell down the YouTube trail of watching
Because it's
competitive
YouTube.
fighting games. Yeah, like somehow. So we're talking Tekken, Street Fighter, Smash. You know what all of them did? They were using controllers. Because I don't know if this is true, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Internet. I feel like when you do those competitions, it's mandatory you use the controller that for the system you're using, and you're not allowed to use those things when you're in competition. This is what I saw. Everyone had controllers for the system they were using.
Could depend on the event. Could.
All right, so some of them were Evo. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
So right there, and that goes into my next thing. If you got to be a little bitch to try and pay for an advantage in a fighting game because you're just not good enough because you lose to someone like meh, then here's my problem. You're the same type of guy that's going to play PUBG or Call of Duty on the Xbox and use keyboard and mouse because it's a little quicker. And we've dealt with people like this, and we've seen videos of those people.
Right, if you're going to spend the money on the game, why not get the most out of the game with perfect control?
Because here's the deal, Jim.
Why limit yourself? Why ever limit yourself in life, Brian?
It's the same reason of if you play football or you play basketball or baseball, throw any sport out there, why not just do steroids? Because it's illegal and it's a bitch move. So basically, if you're trying to
But to be fair,
Go ahead.
sports are never more exciting than when people are roided up. Look at baseball. It's never recovered since the roided era.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with that, but it's being a little bitch because you just can't step up to the competition.
I say it's not only enhancing your game, it's enhancing the experience for everyone around you.
Well, it's not if not everyone's doing the same thing.
Maybe they should.
But that's an illegal substance, Jim. And I look at that controller like you're being a little bitch. And unless you're going against someone who has it, like if me and you are playing side by side, maybe. But you know what? If me and you were going to play side by side, why don't we go out to an arcade? Why don't we not just be little trolls in our basement? And why don't we go out and play?
That's fine.
Now, if you have
because then we'd be using an arcade stick controller.
Yes,
which is the optimal way to do it.
But no. We're
We're
not talking about.
So now we're leaving the comfort of the home to go to the optimal way to do it.
We're not talking about the arcade experience. We're talking about at your home buying a simulated arcade stick, which you're gonna waste $100, which we already established. You already agreed with me on that because we can all agree.
I've never once said it was a waste.
We can all agree.
Never once said it was a waste
because you could get 20 games for that, Jim. That's 20 flower games you could get.
But why would I waste the money on 20 games? Why do I waste the money on 20 games when I can have one game and have the best experience I can and get my true money's worth out of that game?
So here's
instead
the
of buying
deal.
20 games I'll never play, Brian. You bitch at me all the time about having all these games I never play.
And let's also analyze this. I've seen you use that, and I still beat you. So it didn't up your game that much.
To be fair, that one's not the best. It came in a bundle for a greatest hit.
I know, because most of them aren't good. So what I'm saying is, if you're going to spend your money and you think this is going to be a thing that gives you an advantage, you're the same person that buys a self-help book. And you're like, I can't get my shit together. Maybe this thing will guide my life. This will be the thing that sets my ass straight.
I'm buying the secret so I can pick up women.
So here's the deal. Don't waste your money. You don't need the advantage. Get better with the controller. And don't be a troll like Jim. That's all I'm saying. Do I have an arcade stick? No, because I can whoop you with just a regular. You can even give me a fucking Mad Catz third-party controller that's falling apart, and I'm still going to be like, boom, boom.
Boom, boom.
That's right.
Goddamn.
So at the end of the day, we all know arcade sticks are overrated. If you're a hardcore fighting fan, learn to use the controllers. If you're that good with the arcade stick, go to the arcade. Run that shit against the 8-year-olds that are playing it. But if you're a grown man and you got balls, and we covered this last time, Jim, we know who does have balls and who doesn't.
That's what I have to say to that.
You know they're overrated. I wish I had my suitcase so I could close it.
God damn it. We're going to have to start bringing props into this shit.
That's right. So you guys sound off. Let us know what you think. I do know people who are fighting game fanatics, and I watch the amount of shit about latency and stuff, and this stick feels too sticky or whatever. But yeah, I always was confused. Like you said, you can spend $300 on that shit. Like, unless you're competing for money, why the fuck would you do that? I don't know.
Perfectionism.
To me, like I said, that's also like modding a controller for rapid fire.
No, I'll say for me, like personally, I'm awful with freaking arcade sticks.
I just don't get them.
So
yeah.
Like, I mean, I didn't really go to arcades a lot as a kid. Wasn't
No,
in
I
my
went
house
to.
a lot as a kid.
Here's the deal. Once again, to me,
They feel weird, and they're purposely left-handed to make it harder for you.
but I'm considering arcade stick being.
Debate's over right now. We're just blabbing.
Yeah. We're just talking about. I'm saying, I'm only talking about the arcades sticks as it comes to like buying it for a console. If you're talking about arcade game, that's the only way to play it. Yeah, that's fine, and the experience is better, and you're already built in like to the handicap, so everyone's handicapped at the same level. But if you buy that goddamn whatever monstrosity, like what's that thing? Isn't that the standard controller for like the Neo Geo? That one Neo Geo, it doesn't look like almost an arcade.
It's an arcade stick, yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Just
thing,
the buttons are like
but
stupidly
isn't
placed.
the pad itself like fucking huge?
It's pretty big.
Yeah. So that was always silly to me as well. But yeah, I would love if anyone out there, you bought a arcade stick controller for your system outside of what the system came with. Let me hear, number one, if you're doing it for games other than fighting games, or if you actually think it's better other than like a latency or input issue. I would love to hear it, because I can't imagine anyone thinks they're actually more comfortable. But that's just me.
I mean, I still want to debate.
I mean, I won last time. I won about
You
the
won shit last
17
time.
before. So everyone said how great my Punisher hoodie was. So I won.
I'm pretty sure no one said that. One person said that, but there's one comment.
How many for you? Wait.
I don't dress in Punisher hoodies.
Wait.
Maybe someone will say this is a very nice Philly shirt.
I think everyone hates Philly, Jim. We're from Philly. We know everyone hates us.
You can still say it's a nice shirt.
Son of a bitch. All right. And the final topic.
Did you start up again?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. And the final topic for today's podcast, we just want to kind of go over briefly the goals for the page. Over the past, couple podcasts, we've talked about the fact we got our Patreon. Jim's been doing pinball reviews. We're going into Resident Evil reviews. We are for sure going to be getting back to more regular reviews. At a minimum.
More standard, like, our reviews.
Yeah, like both of us together. At a minimum, we'll always tell you guys, kind of like give you a brief idea of what we're going to be reviewing. Like we said, easily for January, February, maybe even in March. We really want to go through most of Resident Evil games. We love that series, and we're going to be doing just more games that we really love or want to talk about. Doesn't mean they're all going to be great. Could be shitty. And we will take your suggestions. We've seen people over the past couple years give us suggestions. We're not ignoring you. We always comment back.
Yep. That one person wants us to play goddamn Chikanda forever, man. Oh,
well, there's that in the Rugrats game.
And Rugrats, yeah.
So we have a handful of games. It's like, okay, we probably will just try and get to, or if we find them cheap enough, or if you want to send them to us, whatever. But either way, video reviews, at a minimum, we'd love to try and do every week, get at least one out. At least for the foreseeable future. The days of getting 30 reviews out in a month.
No, those are done.
Those are done. But we want to do that. We're going to keep trying to do the podcast every 2 weeks with the little mini clips sent out to you guys. And I'll tell you right now, the number one reason I do it, I'm trying to do it in reverse order, meaning if you listen to a podcast, I'm trying to start releasing the videos of what we talked about first, because we know you guys might not want to listen to an hour and a half podcast.
Yeah.
But we still want you to hear some of the things we're saying. So it's not like, I'm just trying to chop it up for you guys to keep listening. It's to get you guys engaged in what we're talking about. The site itself, there's going to be a lot more emphasis on putting things, the beer reviews, game reviews, and just general. We had some articles of interviews we've done, some going to different pubs, going to different breweries that we're trying to backfill since we've redone the site.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot more emphasis on putting things on the site. And fingers crossed, if, we're hitting our Patreon goals and we're doing what we can, then we're going to get the brackets back on a weekly basis. Because that's something I just legit enjoy doing. And we know that drove a lot of engagement with you guys because it sparked a lot of debates, and I have a whole list of other brackets already planned out that I would love to get to with you all. So I think those are easily some of the things. We will have, I don't want to say it too publicly, but we will probably have a collaboration with another page.
We'll try to reach out more to other content creators.
So we have some things in the works there.
Just
also,
2018 just with kids.
Kids, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of... We had plans for stuff, and that just killed it.
Fingers crossed. No more kids.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Love
my kid to death, but Jesus.
So we also, I think, Jim and I have been tossing around the idea, getting back, doing some drinking games. The Twitch streaming, I would love to say we could be on a committed schedule. We honestly probably can't with the kids, but I tend to, a lot of times, if I'm playing a new game, I might just start streaming on Twitch. So I might not always be communicating. I'll always respond on the chat, but there will be commentary gameplays coming forward. So just a lot more just trying to get back with you guys and giving you as much content as possible.
Yeah. Seems reasonable enough. And just keep, growing and doing what we do.
Yeah. So with that, guys, as always, thank you for all your support in 2018. We know it was, with everything going on for both of us.
It was up and down with consistency and everything.
Yeah. But we're going to really try to stay consistent. We thank for all your support, comments on everything, and for our Patreons. We really appreciate you guys. That's amazing.
Thank you very much for anyone who decides to do anything for us.
Other than that, what'd you think of these Budweiser Coppers, Jim?
You know what? They're not bad. I wasn't sitting here thinking ooh, this is amazing. But I have no complaints about it at all.
Better than Miller.
It's better than Miller High Life, and it's better than normal Budweiser, I'll say.
Yeah.
I think it's just smoother in general.
It's actually a shame it's not more readily available.
Yeah, it's probably going to go away because no one knows and or cares about it, but it's a pretty good brand.
Not bad. I think what you may see is some shit maybe Coors, aged in Jack barrels.
That would not surprise me.
Yeah, Jack has to get in the game now. Jim Beam's got it. They're like, well, fuck you. I can do it.
Yeah. PBR and old granddad.
They're going away, Jim.
Well, maybe they'll come back.
All right, guys. So let us know below. Do you guys have any comments? Do you have any topics you want to hear us talk about?
Maybe we'll get a tan for one of these podcasts eventually. It's January right now, but it's going to be a little milky until then, until the summer.
Love who you are, Jim.
New year, new...
Don't do it. Don't do it.
You?
Maybe Jim will grow a real beard. I don't know.
That's probably not going to happen. I've waited 32 years and it hasn't happened yet.
Jim, actually this year at some point in the podcast, you're just going to have to go straight mustache.
Wow. I will look like a raper like that.
But you can't do that. All right, guys.
But yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I'll do it for a podcast and then go clean baby face.
That's right. That's what I like.
Man, you'll really see those 17 shins then.
All right, guys. Till next time. Cheers.
Cheers.